everyone. It's Henry on the live stream. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I hope everyone can hear me and can see my screen very clearly. If you cannot hear me or cannot see my screen very clearly, please indicate so that I can have that fixed before we commence. So far, as you can see in our previous live stream, I talked about my analysis on Ethereum and what I'm anticipating to see in the marketplace. And as you can see very nicely, if the price came to the downside, mitigated this position. What I wanted to see was a 15-minute shift to market structure, and very nicely created a high, created a low right here, and then price broke that structure. After break of that structure, we came back down. In as much as I wanted to see price come lower to this key level, it didn't really get to that position. Eventually created even another high right here. My personal opinion, I'm not going to get into the market right here at these levels, but I'll most likely prefer to get in at 3,453. If we do get to that position, I'll be looking for a buy position. We already have a limit order set right there, and I'm going to stick with that. If price comes down there, it's going to activate us into a buy setup. And we will also be looking for a potential 3 minutes or 5 minutes of market structure from this key level. And once we see that, we will be getting into a second position. That's going to be our re-entry position. So that is what I'm watching on Ethereum, and nothing really much going on in the market so far for today. And I presume that's because yesterday was bank holiday for the US. So we look at what's happening with Bitcoin. On the other hand, with Bitcoin, it came down to low resistance liquidity, expanded higher, running these low resistance liquidities. So for Bitcoin could potentially still continue higher, but in my personal opinion, I still will prefer to buy Bitcoin at this key level. 64,500 is going to be my personal, 64,600 is going to be my personal area for accumulation for Bitcoin. And if price comes there, I'll look for potential entries, but if it doesn't, then I'll most likely just going to be on the sidelines. So looking at Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, Bitcoin dominance dropped a little bit. On Tuesday, it dropped a little bit, but personally, I still want to see a heavy expansion to the upside for Bitcoin dominance to get into 57.19. That will be my overall distribution zone. We really need to see it come into this key level if we are to see any sort of alt season this year. We would need Bitcoin dominance to hit 57.24 and then potentially drop off from that key level. If we do see that mitigation and a rejection, impulsively rejecting of that key level to the downside, that could ignite the altcoins to explode exponentially. So that is what I'm watching for. That is what I'm watching for Bitcoin dominance. And let's have a look at Ethereum dominance as well. So for Ethereum dominance, I actually anticipated for it to come into this inefficiency, but for some reason that didn't happen. But it exploded to the upside into this inefficiency resting right here. So we're going to see whether this is going to facilitate any sort of rejection, whether it's going to be a reaction for it to mitigate something lower. For example, inefficiencies resting right here, or maybe it could still react from there and send us to the downside to run this outside liquidity and mitigate this position. That would be an awesome area to see Ethereum against Bitcoin come down into. If that should happen, this would be a very beautiful area for accumulation for Ethereum against Bitcoin, because from here it's upwards, and I would potentially like to see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin in the long run. So that is my analysis on what I'm looking forward to see on Ethereum. There's not really so much else happening in the market so far, but let's have a look at Forex. So looking at the dollar, like I said previously yesterday, I wanted to see the dollar come into this inefficiency, and very nicely we've come into that inefficiency, mitigated it, and now we're seeing a sort of rejection of that key level. I wouldn't really jump into any trade setup yet for the dollar, whether it's a buy or sell. The only thing I'm watching is to see the reaction from this key level, because if the dollar should gravitate above this high, then that means it's just absolutely game over the foreign currencies, because it means the dollar will edge higher to run this buy side liquidity. But personally, I still want to I still want to see the dollar edge lower on the long term. I still want to see lower prices on the dollar. And if we go to Euro US dollar to see what the market is doing on Euro as well, as you can see, Euro, this is the key level that I'm watching on Euro for an accumulation. If Euro is going to go to the upside, I presume it's going to happen from this key level. And so far, prices mitigated the extreme discount zone. As you can see, we came into the extreme discount zone, expanded to the upside, came back down, mitigated it again, expanded to the upside, and we came back down again, mitigated the extreme discount zone again, and now we're rejecting of that key level. Personally, if I want to buy Euro, I'll most likely prefer to buy Euro from this key level, this inefficiency reason right here, because number one, there's liquidity, and then number two, there's an inefficiency, and number three, that is also an extreme discount zone. So I want to see a run on liquidity before a potential expansion to the upside. I'm still very bullish on Euro, in as much as we've had this displacement to the downside, which could still potentially run the lows. But right here is the extreme level. If this key level fails to take us to the upside, then most likely this low will fail as well. And that means that price is potentially going to be coming down here, because if this low fails, I don't see any major resistance that will take us to the upside beside us coming down here. So that's what I'm watching, and that is why personally I'll be looking for a trade if Euro do eventually come down to run this upside liquidity, and I see a potential shift in market structure on 30 minutes time frame, I'll be looking for a buy on Euro, and my take profit position is going to be this overall highs right here on the daily time frame. So that is what I'm watching, and I'll see how that goes eventually. For oil, nothing really much has happened since after the first live stream. I still want to see oil come to the downside, potentially running this low resistance liquidity, and then coming into my extreme levels for a potential accumulation and expansion to the upside. So that is what I'm watching for US oil. Let's have a look at pound US dollar. Nothing really much happening with pound US dollar. We mitigated this inefficiency on daily, rejected of that key level. So personally, I wouldn't really be looking for a sell for pound US dollar. As you can see, we still came to the downside to mitigate this inefficiency right here, and you're seeing this rejection from that key level. So personally, I'm not going to try to sell it, but if I do see a good setup for a buy, I'll preferably want to look for a buy for the pound and also for the euro as well. So that is my analysis on that one. And for Euro GBP, nothing really much has happened since today. We're just seeing this rejection to the upside. So I still want to see Euro GBP come up here, and until that happens, I'm just going to be on the sidelines on that one. But if it happens, I'll look for a potential sell from this key level. So that is my analysis. And looking at Aussie dollar, nothing really much has happened today on Aussie dollar, just been in a consolidation. Since yesterday, we've been at the same position, and today, Thursday, we're still at the same position. So personally, I'm not going to try to sell it. I'm also not going to try to buy it from this position. Nothing to see here on Aussie. We will just be watching it closely to see whether price is going to come to a good key level for us to accumulate buy positions. So that is my analysis. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you all next time. Have an amazing day, everyone.